want to get to what's just breaking on Capitol Hill. The Mexican President Felipe Calderon has just wrapped up his speech to a joint meeting of Congress. He spent a lot of time there today talking about the deadly drug war raging throughout Mexico and also urging American lawmakers to stop the flow of weapons into Mexico. Take a listen.
I admire the American Constitution, and I understand that the purpose of the Second Amendment is to guarantee good American citizens the ability to defend themselves and their nation. But believe me, many of these guns are not going to honest American hands.
Well, Texas Congressman Michael McCaul is with us, a Republican and ranking member of the House Homeland Security Intelligence Subcommittee. Congressman, wanted to get your reaction. He talked a lot about drugs and a lot about weapons today.
Yeah, Jane, let me just first say I have great admiration and respect for President Calderon, the first president of Mexico to ever take head-on these dangerous drug cartels, putting himself and his life at stake. I thought overall he gave a good speech. I was a little disappointed that he took a swipe at the Arizona law. I don't see the Arizona law as the problem here. I see the Arizona law being passed in response to a problem, which is a growing violent border that is not secure, a failure on the part of the federal government to enforce federal law, and these drug cartels that are out of control. As you know, there's a war raging.
Congressman, I just want to play, you did reference, he made again today, for the second time in 2 days, a comment about criticism of the Arizona law. I want to play for our viewers because were not able to hear that, exactly what he said, and then we'll talk about it on the other side.
Thank you very much. I am convinced that a comprehensive immigration reform is also crucial to securing our common border. However, I strongly disagree with the recently adopted law in Arizona.
He has called it discriminatory. Interesting, Congressman, some of your colleagues have said they feel like the Mexican president is lecturing American lawmakers, that he's interfering with American law. Lamar Smith said it's like you invite somebody over for dinner and they complain about the food you made.
Exactly. I think it's inappropriate for him to come in and criticize our laws. When we go down to Mexico, we don't do that to the Mexicans. And again, the Arizona law is not the problem. The problem is the growing violence down the border and securing the border, and the Obama administration enforcing federal law. And I think, essentially what he's doing is pandering to his constituency, back in Mexico. And it takes the ball off what the focus should be, and that is the United States and Mexico working together, our militaries working together to eradicate these dangerous drug cartels that are down there.
Aren't we working together, though? We've certainly spent an awful lot of money on it.
We have been, and I think we're having some success, but there's still many problems. I met with the Department of Homeland Security officials just yesterday who told me that the technology piece, the virtual fence, if you will not be completed until 2016. And so it seems to me we ought to be talking about these issues and not an Arizona law, which in many respects models a federal program where state and local law enforcement are deputized to enforce immigration law. Having said that, this is under the Constitution. This is a federal responsibility, and the federal government has abdicated its responsibility to enforce immigration laws.
Yeah, I know a lot of people feel that way. He obviously made, in the soundbite we heard there, a push for immigration reform and for comprehensive reform. The president himself has addressed it, particularly in the last couple of days. From where you stand, do you see any movement on that in the near future in the halls of Congress?
Well, I think, again, what most American people, what they want is a secure border. They want control over the borders. They want control over who's coming into this country. The fact of the matter is Mexico has a far more tougher immigration law than we do. In fact, foreigners are not given due process rights. They're simply deported out of the country. So it's a bit hypocritical for him to come into the United States and then criticize one state's laws here. I think comprehensive could come up, but I think what most people want is control over this border, which is every day growing more and more out of control.
Congressman Michael McCaul, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
A very scary situation when fire breaks out in the cockpit of a